Good, turn them down, turn them on silent, whatever. I'd like to call this meeting to order. There's one change on the agenda. It's invocation and pledge to the flag. We're gonna do the pledge first and then the invocation. If we all stand, remove our hats and say the pledge, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ma'am, could you do our pledge,
Gracious
please?
God, please join us as we make decisions that involve our center, our congregants, our community, and give us your discernment, wisdom, and knowledge. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And before we do roll call,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, on the record, thank the Harrisville Lions for our new flag.
Excellent. Thank you, Harrisville Lions.
Roll call. Secretary Robert Turek, present. Director Kelly Von Fintel.
Present.
Treasurer Roland Lynch.
Sure.
President Phil Potter.
Here.
Vice President Dolores Schlicker.
Here.
Director Pam McKinnon.
Here.
Director Lori Sethny.
Here.
Director Leroy Pinder.
Here.
And Director Ty Damon.
Here.
And Commissioner Liaison Member at Large Carolyn Brown.
Here.
Okay, we're out here then. Approval of the agenda. You have it in front of you.
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Damon, seconded by Schlicker to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You have the minutes in front of you from our June 24th regular meeting. We need there's no changes or additions.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second.
Motion by McKinnon, seconded by Von Pennell to approve the agenda, or the minutes from our June 24th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. We're gonna have a public comment. It's limited to 2 minutes per person. Please give your name and your township.
Gary Bluff, Mitchell Township. I was talking to some residents about this, and I found out that this building closes at 5 o'clock. You know, this thing was sold with the intention of competition with the APEC. Okay, and you have seniors that work till 5 o'clock, and the hopes was to be using the facilities. I don't know, and if it's possible, but are you good, is this building gonna also be open on Saturdays? Because there are people that, you know, came and, you know, this was sold number one for the seniors. I'm kind of having an issue that the seniors have to pay to use the weight room, since, you know, most of this was built off their back, and we know the things that took place to get us to here. And I'm just kind of struggling with it, so I'm kind of hoping you're gonna run this thing so that it is a competition with the Apex, because they're open till 8 o'clock at night. And we need to be convenient for the whole thing, since this was sold as a community center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, McNeil, Paws Township. I'm on the same page with him. In order to run a successful fitness center, you have to be open when the people can come. So I suggest that you open it 2 hours earlier, 6 o'clock in the morning, and go until at least 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, because most of the community cannot make it here by 5 o'clock. I mean, it's impossible. And the business, I think your business model is to keep this thing on its feet. You are losing out on a ton of revenue by people that are not gonna sign up for something they can't use.
Thank you.
Laura Whiting, Dustin Township. I'm here specifically because I was told by a director at the opening that Silver Sneakers would not be utilized. It wasn't worth the paperwork involved. So that led me, and there were 3 other people present, so I'm the only one here, so they can try to deny it. There were 3 other people present that heard the statement. There was no explanation other than that. It was a flippant response with a chuckle, not worth the time and energy with the paperwork. You're losing out on a lot of revenue, and a lot of seniors in this community are very poor. And they have silver sneakers that are built into their health plans so that they would be able to utilize the services here. And like everyone is stating that is here present, this was sold as primarily a senior center. To not utilize silver sneakers is shameful. It is despicable. A lot of very poor people who really rely on a senior center for their social and mental health cannot afford to go anywhere else, would not be able to utilize the services provided here. And I just think it's despicable. And the flippant response that I received is what led me to come here today, and I will stay informed from now on.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Okay, then I will close public comment. And we'll move on to presentations. Andy Shaw, open house comment.
Thank you, President Bell. All right, so we have our temporary certificate of occupancy. We have about 2 weeks to wrap up a few things. The number one thing we have to finish is the garage electric. Electrician's here today, so we're probably about 80% finished in the main garage, and then we really got, we have to finish up the secondary, or call it the storage area next to the garage. I figure it's like 3 days work, and so we'll hope, and we should have that hopefully wrapped up by the end of the week. We're adjusting some sensors. Carolyn brought up one in the women's lounge, and there's a few others, but we're going to maybe be changing out some sensors and kind of adding some sensors. So we're trying to get it so in any room, in any hallway, almost immediately when you walk in there, the lights pop on and stay on for a long time. So that's just some adjustment. We actually had the salesman in this morning, and we're going to be swapping out and perhaps adding some sensors. That's on the electrical front. On the plumbing, we're all finished. We just have some insulation on a couple of pipes in the janitor's closet. We're just waiting on that insulation to come in. A couple of signs, directional signs for the water. So very minor stuff there. And then on the HVAC, as soon as we've got 4 electrical devices, electrical heaters in the garage and what have you, and as soon as we get power to them, then the plumber will come back and fire those up. So those are pretty small interior building items, and then we're always just kind of adjusting. You know, we've got some door closers we're putting on, a couple of locks that just weren't functioning properly. We swapped those out, and we got a couple of doors, still one set of doors actually to put onto the gym. So pretty minor stuff, but that's going on. Then go to kind of the bigger items on the inside is that come now August 11th, they're working on a job, it's giving them some trouble. So on August 11th will come, Kuhn Flooring will come back. They're going to grind down the existing lines on the pickleball, shift them, and then add 3 more courts. So then on just as a courtesy from them, they're going to give us 1 more coat over the entire thing after they do that. And so that should start about the 11th, and it should take now 2 weeks to finish. And then once that is done, then our other group comes in, Griffin Sports, and then they'll put in the sleeves to receive the nets, but they don't want the sleeve. The floor company doesn't want the sleeves in now because it'll mess up their machines when they're doing that. So that's kind of sequence. So I really see the volleyball. Of course, right now you can go and use the gym, no problem, for basketball or running or walking or what have you. But by the end of August, first part of September, we'll have the fully functioning pickleball and volleyball situated. And then with that, once that's in, we didn't want to put all the cushions up. Each one of those columns, kind of steel beams, will have a cushion on them, but it'll get dusty again once they're in there working on the floor. So we're gonna wait till the floor guy's done, and then we'll put all those cushions up around the perimeter. And then we've got 1 more net that's going in as well. So that'll be a post-floor thing. So again, end of August, first part of September, That'll be wrapped up. And then about September 15th, we're looking for the final coat of asphalt, and then also planting bushes and shrubs. We'll just kind of see exactly what the weather's like, if we're in a hot spell or a wet spell or what have you. But that's kind of the optimum time to do both those activities. You put the bushes in, of course, everyone knows now they'll get burned off, or if you put the asphalt second coat in now, you get all the tire twist marks. So that's kind of that. So that's kind of the big thing now. We had a big downpour, and I just happened to be here, went back in the residential, and I saw that we are getting a tremendous amount of water shedding in from Fitzpatrick's and Chrismart. And it's not right. It's a big thing we're gonna have to address right now. I didn't realize we were getting all this water. I just happened to be here in the midst of a downpour and saw it coming in. And there's a thing called agricultural discharge rate. And every property owner has an obligation, if they increase the hard surface on their property to whatever degree, you then have to retain that so that the net effect is it's slowly going off. And that's what our two ponds do here. They accumulate this burst of water and then slowly let it dissipate. So I'm going to go, when I get time, I was going to try to do it yesterday, but either today or tomorrow, I'm going to go talk to Nathan at Fitzpatrick's, and it's really his responsibility to deal with. It's not right that he's giving us this massive surcharge, which is causing erosion in the residential area. So I know Nathan well, and I'm optimistic that we'll be able to work out a solution that'll handle that properly. So right now we've spent some money and some time channeling this area between house number 6 and 5. And every time we get a huge downpour, it makes the problem come back again. So we gotta work on that. So that's a good one. And then that's really about it. We're going to get the rest of the debris out of the back, hopefully today. And then the guys are spreading topsoil and seed. The hydro seed just didn't quite work out. We're getting these huge downpours. And then over the weekend, I think it was Saturday night, half of our hydro seed washed away. So then we went back to a different plan of mixing the seed with the straw and then spraying that down. So that's what we're up to right now. And then otherwise, it's pretty minor stuff that we're getting. There's a couple lights and we're having some trouble with in the locker rooms. We'll get that figured out. And then a couple of more pieces are coming in. There's one item back ordered on the gym. It's supposed to ship on August 8th. And then we've got another thing that came in we just have to put together. So that's that. And then the big kicker is money. And so first off, I want to say that no person on the board had any effect on the money, right? It was solely me. Like if I told you I had a problem, any individual person, you might have an idea, but it's just, it's not your burden, right? It's my job to get the project done on budget. And the short bit is we went over, we did the best we could. And at one point, I want to give a little background, because I've told most people the same story, and I've even said it here before. But in my 41 years of doing this, I've never started a project without a full set of drawings, building permits, plans, and all bid out. That's how you always do it. And what always happens is you have your first set of plans, you can't afford them, you have to make changes. But before you put one shovel in the ground, you've gone through that process, and that process takes 2 to 3 years. At a hotel I did just a few years back, we were 3 years of planning and 2 years of building, and that's not, an unusual ratio. So here at the very beginning, it was just the question was, do we risk losing the grant, or do we just hit the ground running? And the decision was to hit the ground running on July 1st, 2023. I mean, just a couple days after I was hired, with no plans, no specs whatsoever, we got out there and started doing earthwork, cutting down trees and what have you. So you go through the course, we developed a set of plans, and, for the people that were around during that time, we had meetings and approvals at the village. And then what happened is we kept shrinking, we realized the costs were, we couldn't afford what we wanted. And we just had to delete things. And first of all, we shrunk almost every single room in the building. We shrunk the gym by 20 feet in both directions. We cut the fitness area basically in half. We cut the lockers down literally in half. We cut the showers from, at one point there were 12, we ended up down to 3. The only thing we actually didn't cut was the offices, because it had a fixed amount of offices you need, and you couldn't just arbitrarily not have enough offices. So the offices was kind of the one area that didn't get cut. But at one point we had, that dining room was 2.5 times the size it is now. So we had this process where we're not only trimming the size of the building, cutting out things, but at the same time, we had the other side of that coin. And that was, we encountered a huge buried pile of stumps that cost a fortune to take out. We actually found 3 of them when it was all said and done, which we dissolved in engineer fill. So we had this other force going on. We had the septic system that the local health fella demanded this super duper system. And when we finally got the demands for it, we couldn't do anything about it. It was like, I couldn't have gone to the board. You guys couldn't have like figured out a cheaper way to do it. That wasn't your responsibility. And so, you know, we just had to deal with this extremely expensive, literally the largest septic and most complicated septic system in all of Alcona County. And then same with our water and what have you. So the short of this thing is that managing the budget, we went through 2024, and right about July of 2024, we got our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing drawings. Phil and I met with this guy, told him so many times we want a reasonable Northern Michigan plan. We got a General Motors University of Michigan plan. And it was, it was millions more than we could possibly afford. So what happens is with the architect, and I can tell you, we got to this brink many times. We're deep into it. I'm arguing with the architect, and the choices are simple. He quits, or we fire him, or we agree to just make it work. And then again, if you fire your architect, or if he quits in the middle of the project, you're starting over. And so I always had that like sword of Damocles hanging over me, that if I made a big move, we risked losing the grant and risked it all, right? So that was always a force out there affecting financial decisions. And a lot of times, I can tell you, me and Jonathan went so hard at it. We went 4 months without ever speaking. And I pushed him as far as I could, and he probably flexed as far as he was willing to. So that's like one force, and that's normal to agree. This was a little farther. So, you know, I can't tell the architect, you put this finish on, or you do this. It's his discretion. Now in the mechanical, electrical, it got even worse. You know, there was a point where I just told him, look, we cannot afford your fancy program. We have to make massive adjustments. And thank God he flexed. It was a Saturday that turned into a war, that finally he buckled. And because I would have had to fire him. I had no choice at that point. We couldn't afford his drawings. And then finally, over a weekend, he made radical changes to his drawings, which we only could afford. And again, thank God, we got Brad Smith and his partner. We got Colvins, who were working with us, literally trimming millions of dollars off of the combined heating, cooling, and electrical. So then here we are, September 2024, in budget. Everything is perfect. We're right there. Thank God. It was an amazing couple of months of cutting, and a lot of people were upset. I had to cut the kitchen. I had to cut the game room. You know, we cut it. We had $1 million worth of equipment in the gym at one point, in a 10,000 square foot gym. It ended up $100,000 worth of equipment in a fraction of that size. The game room, there's a bunch of plugs in there because we were going to have all these cool, all these machines, and you know, certain people had more interest than others, and it just pained me. I had to just keep cutting this stuff. But again, at least we got somewhat of a functioning game room, a nicely functioning stuff. The locker pit, I mean, literally what we paid for lockers was 10% of our original position on lockers. Like, that's how much compression went on during this process. And so in the end, so here we are, September 2024, we get in cost overruns, and it's like, all right, let's say September was 50 grand. And then in my mind, I stopped taking any payments from me other than reimbursements. The last check that went to me was August of 2024. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll deal with that later. You'll see if we get some good news. And I always could cut myself, like, all right, well, I'll get paid later. And then we get to December. And then I'm like, hey, I got to see how much money exactly we have. Like, let's add up these bank accounts and see. Well, there was some kind of either misinterpretation or something. But when we got down to the real numbers about mid-December, we realized we had about 250 grand less than I had calculated. And I think it was just a mathematical error that went on, but reality was what it was. That was a single day, $250,000 hit. And I'm like, dang. So that took me to $500,000, which was what was basically left to pay me at that point. And so I'm like, all right, it's not, it just is what it is. I just like, you can't stop. At that point, you can't cut down part of the building and not build it. You can't put plywood on the windows. Your ability to react decreases with each month that goes on. You can't just not put carpeting down in the conference room, or I wasn't willing to do that. And so then you got your cost overruns, and a couple of the big ones were the fire suppression, our earthwork, the amazing sanitary septic system, and the water system. And then those are the things that I couldn't cut. I just didn't have the authority to go out there and say, I don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on our septic field. We just had to do it, and same with our water and same with fire suppression. If anyone was here when we were testing the fire alarm, it's insane. It will give you a heart attack. It's so overwhelming. I don't know if there's anybody who was in the building when we're testing it, but we have, literally, they're just everywhere, all these sensors, what have you. But the short bit is, I couldn't affect that. I couldn't go and say, I don't want to put in all these sensors. I don't want to use these super expensive sensors. We just had to spend the money. We had to do what the fire marshal said, and we had to put that stuff in. So the short of the whole thing is, right now, we have $235,000 worth of bills that we kind of need to pay like pronto. We're going to have another, on top of that, we've got this $50,000 potential savings with the electrician. He's doing his math. He knows the jam we're in, and per his contract, he, out of goodness of his heart, basically, he might trim us about 50. That's out there. That's the one thing. He's seeing where he has to finish. He's seeing where his numbers are, and if he can cut a slack, he's going to. And so that's where we are. And then we got about half of the money to me, and I turned in an invoice. I just said, hey, I'm the bottom, like over time, somehow at some point, I'd like to get some payment, right? But that's that's a separate thing. The main thing is taking care of people right now, or soon, that we got 235 we need now. And I know there was agreement on the line of credit, but that's kind of got to get addressed pretty quickly. And then on the other side of that thing is that, again, we got a three-legged stool of money. One is the houses, they're full, that's kind of doing its thing, there's not much to do there. We've got the income from the all things that are exercise related. We're real close in this gym master thing. We got to select a bank, but monetizing our exercise area is crucial. We've got to have every event, every dollar that we can get coming in from there. And then on the food side, there's just a lot of things, event and food wise, that should be a big revenue generator for us. I've applied for a board position, and I'm looking to stick around. My normal MO is, just a side note, if I build a shopping center, me and my partners, we own it for about 3 years. We call it seasoning. We stick around. We make sure we work out all the bugs. We get it full. We have 3 years worth of operating history, and then we sell it. So my intention, one, I've lived here for 20 years. I have no intention of ever selling my house, unless some catastrophic happened. But I would like to get on the board, and I would like to utilize my 41 years of entrepreneurial experience to maximize the revenue, partly from my own self-interest of getting paid at some point, but then at the same time, an overwhelming desire of seeing this place just succeed at the highest level possible. So that's it.
Thank you. So when I put down comments, open house comments. I thought that was a good time for everybody to talk about, you know, how things went, not just Andy. I mean, so
Could I go? I wanted to address you. That was me. My comment was absolutely flippant and was inappropriate. I've already talked with Megan. She's started research on Silver Sneakers, how it works. I was basing mine on, I did some interviews with other senior centers and asked them specifically about, and you know, one was very negative about it, and that's just one opinion, and it shouldn't have been mine, and that shouldn't have been the way I reacted. So I apologize to you personally, and I'll let you know that moving forward with Silver Sneakers, with all the pros and cons, is already in the works.
Andy has done some preliminary work on that also.
I'm stunned. I gotta tell you, my parents are both utilize Silver Sneakers, and I didn't understand the potential revenue. It is massive. So I thought, I didn't know. I mean, literally, I probably got 20 minutes of reading on the internet, and I had no idea that Medicare et al., basically almost every major insurance company you can think of, will basically pay like it's $35 the way I saw it on the internet. And if like, hey, we're only charging 20, but we can get 35, might as well bump it to 35. And then it's like, that's for every single senior over 65 or over. And then when you look at the demographics for Alcona County, that's most of the, you know, like we're really heavily skewed to the older people. And I'm like, dang, that could be in itself, if you just do quick math, you know, you just say, okay, there's 2,000 people that can get free membership here. And that's one of the beefs of even some of the people is that the seniors shouldn't have to pay. Well, if you get the $35, you don't have to pay. You know, it's basically Medicare paying or whomever. And so you just, you know, you look at 35 times a grand, it's 35 grand, times 2 is 70, etc. So I was stunned. I mean, when Bob sent an email and I'm after 20 minutes, I'm like, holy tamale, probably the single most important revenue source we can pursue.
Okay.
I mean, as far as the open house goes, I mean, I think it went fantastic. I couldn't believe how many people were here. Did I hear some negative comments? I did, and I think we can address that later on. As this gentleman says, the hours, the board decided months ago that eventually we would be 6 to 10, okay? But all that depends on staffing levels, which depends upon funds available. So I think the public should know that, I mean, what happened at the open house and what's going on this week is not indicative of what we're going to be doing.
We're not
Andy
even
has
fully moved in yet. We still have stuff to move in. So once things get settled down, we will be expanding our hours. We just, at this point, we're still in the process. I mean, yesterday literally was our first day in here. So once we get settled down and stuff, yes, we definitely will be expanding our hours. It's already been approved by the board, so.
I mean, we were cleaning windows and putting in ceiling tiles as people were coming
Yeah,
into the day.
yeah.
Andy has more
So-
work. You're doing the door locks and such like
Yeah, I
that.
forgot to mention that because so on the doors, so I didn't put in the auto doors. They always get broken. Even during the move-in, trades will just ram it with a 2x4. The door will open up. And so they're literally sitting on the floor in the office area where I'm working right now. So it's just a scheduling issue right now. And we'll have, I would say within a week or two, well, the 2 front doors will be you just have to tap the button and you'll have automatic, both those doors will open. And then we're doing a swap around too. So right now you got to fiddle with your keys outside the vestibule, and we're going to swap those doors. So now if you need to get in, you'll be in the vestibule. And then that is intertwined with the card reading system that we have with Gym Master. So I'd say within about 2 weeks or so, they call them electric strikes for the doors, but then the auto doors, all that should be functioning. And we got this front door, someone hit it early on, one of the trades did something, and we've adjusted it like 12 times. And then when we take it off, we'll see if it's damaged. We might have to get a brand new door for that.
Yeah, the key you gave me does not open that door.
It's crazy. And we've had Franks in here. I think what happened is someone really jacked it, And even though we brought it back, it's just damaged. So there's a good chance we'll put a whole brand new door on when we do the switch.
I mean, I confirmed when I talked to the architect at the open house, he said exactly what Andy did. They did 2 years to do what they did in 2.5 or 3, almost 3 years is unheard of. They said it just, so much accelerated to get to this point from what it normally would be. One other thing I bring up now, did you guys see what the occupancy load of the dining room is? 258. So the whole conversation we had months and months ago about how big of a wedding this can have, when we thought it was only 125, that got doubled. All right. And I had a conversation with the architects about that also. And even that, they based that upon the availability of bathrooms. That has nothing to do with the fire code or such like that. So
yeah. So what happened on that's interesting. There's always these two numbers, right? One is the code calculated and the other is like practical reality of like how many people. But then what happens? So if you have a big wedding, let's say you maxed it out to the 258, you would have to make sure these doors are open and we have to use all of our bathrooms, right? So if you had a huge wedding, you'd have to have access to our 2 bathrooms over here, plus the men's and women's locker rooms in order for that to work out. But then my mom and we had a group of people sitting at the tables, right? And we just kind of got together. So we had about 8 people at one table. It was fine. I thought it would be really crowded, but we were eating and sitting there and we just kind of pulled chairs up from other places and we have those extra chairs. So yeah, 258 in that room, in my mind, you're going to be really packed, but north of 150 at some number, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
yeah, I mean, it's just indicative. You can't get all balled up about stuff 6 months ago until we saw when it was done and what the numbers are. Now we know the numbers. So everybody who said you should have built it bigger, you could have had more people in there, that isn't the case. I mean, we can have more people in there. We're never going to have a 500-person wedding in there. That's impossible. But we certainly can have more than what we were talking about 6 months ago.
Ron?
On the open house, I had a person ask me about renting a building or some part of the building for a wedding around Christmas or New Year's. And she didn't know yet. And I introduced him to Wendy. And Wendy talked to him also. So here we got someone already asking to rent.
I think Ray got 3 calls yesterday for weddings after the open house. So, yeah.
And then Mrs. Deller, Dwayne Deller's wife, Elizabeth, they have a large family, right? She has about renting the place, the whole place, for like a family reunion kind of thing, where they would have the dining and I just gave her a raise. I said, yeah, look, if you want to pay enough, I'm sure they'll rent you anything, So I just gave her Ray's number and name and said, talk to him. But it's just funny. People have ideas in mind. They're like, yeah, we'll rent the whole place for us, So.
If I may speak, she did ask me what it would cost to rent the fitness center for her whole family when they come up from Canada, deposit and for so many hours. And I said, we'll have to get to that one. We don't have a price yet, but that's something that we can look at. So like the game room, renting the game room, renting the gym, it's something that we all have to work out. Yeah. As far as the open house, I thought when I started seeing the people come in and we started setting up more chairs, I know I had 85. I doubled that and there's still people setting up. I'm going to say 220, maybe 230 people were here. I couldn't have asked for a better day for that open house the way it turned out. I think everybody and their brothers were surprised when they walked through that door, how big of a building they were walking into. All they could see is the outside. They just see the short little outside here with the windows. They complimented what a great facility this is going to be for the seniors. So I never got one negative comment the whole day. I don't know if it was just me or people weren't talking. So
Well, I think that number was a little bit higher than you're thinking, because like when I left, there was 8 more cars pulled in.
Yeah, they
You know, I mean.
they were on Barlow Road.
In the steady stream.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not public comment right now. It's about, they had their chance to speak. They'll have to wait till the next public comment. Okay, Andy, you have anything else?
Phil, before you leave, I'd like to make one comment about the open house. I want to thank Wendy's staff. You know, they all pitched in to get this place spick and span. The gentlemen that deliver Meals on Wheels were mopping bathrooms, and the people that work in the kitchen were dusting tables. And I was really proud to be a part of this organization because everybody stepped up to do what needed to be done to host the public with their best face forward. And I just want you to thank them from us.
And with that, then I would like to thank Mr. Turek. Bob, thank you so much for coming in for 2 days and cleaning.
And Pam.
And I think Pam was there
I
too.
mean, come on, it's all good. So,
Carolyn
let's
and
move
I
on.
were out at 10 o'clock one night scooping up sand and gravel from the parking lot, so.
Ty was in, Ty had again, what I thought was so cool is each person picked up on their own little gap, like Carolyn with her flowers and plants, and Ty with all sorts of little knickknacks and the flag, and just each person kind of saw their little opening, and it was really a beautiful combination of everyone working hard at the last second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to move on to the NEMSCA representative.
She doesn't have anything today.
She has nothing
No,
today?
no.
Okay, so we'll move on to Carolyn.
If I may make a comment regarding NEMSCA, as we all know, they were not here Friday, but they were the people who had been invited from NEMSCA, who had received an invitation. They were at a conference and they got back Friday. I spoke with one of them this morning. In fact, they called. And so, yes, we would like to have had them here. And they are going to come down and tour. And everything. So, I only have a couple of things. I did bring the booklet for the fair. There also is a flyer there regarding the lighthouse opening the special day. I think it's August 2nd, but I could be off on that. The pink folder is the concerts at the harbor. And I think that's about all that I brought. I recall. Sunrise Center, the rehab center that I've given you reports off and on. We have identified our new CEO. He has accepted. We are pending right now the receipt of various verifications of his licensure and his drug screening and a few of those kinds of things. But we are not a bit concerned about them. We have seen copies of them, but you have to go back to the origin and get confirmation that yes, in fact, that is a true and accurate copy of the license. Really not much more than that. I bring to you today.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to executive director's report, please.
Mine's short and sweet today also. Just a follow-up for the E-van that was donated to us. The insurance company did say that the insurance is basically the same, no more than what we would pay for a regular vehicle. So we're good on that. And then we did have one of our kitchen staff retire a couple months ago, and we're, with everything going on, we've been trying to get resumes, applications. So hopefully this week, Patty and I and Shay can start doing some phone interviews. We've got a lot of applications. So we will be hiring a kitchen person. And we are still looking for another part-time direct care worker. They're just really hard to come by. And we still have 12 people on our wait list. So we're hoping we can get one and get our wait list down there. For June, we served 2,085 meals, and 3 304 were congregate. And then I just wanted to thank all the board members and my employees for the huge success of our open house. I mean, you guys, the staff, we kind of busted our butts. Weren't able to get in here till like Wednesday morning, all day Wednesday. It was cleaning, packing, moving. Everybody had a purpose. And Wednesday and Thursday, we got as much stuff in here. And Friday, everybody was cleaning like mad. So we do have very little stuff left at the old building. We've been able to sell some items. Any of the metal stuff, Brad said we could leave in there. I think probably by the end of this week, beginning of next week, we should have everything moved over here. We are kind of waiting for some space back there in the storage area to put up shelving so we can bring some more of the paper products for the kitchen over here because we really have no place to put them right now. And then Ron's got some of his maintenance supplies and stuff, and we just need some shelving and space to put some of his stuff. So other than that, we got a lot of stuff out of there. And then besides our open house, we're having our first actual event on Saturday the 2nd with the local radio station hosting their annual benefit. So there'll be, he says, a lot of bands come and go throughout the day, food truck, whatnot. I believe it's by a wristband. They will have beer and wine. That would get you in to listen to the music. I'm not positive. Last I knew, he said they were going to do door prizes. So that's August 2nd. And I believe he said they were going to do it from 3 to about 10. So our first, I'll say second, Rahu.
Is that outside or inside?
Both. They've rented the congregate area, so they'll be kind of inside. I think the food truck will be set up somewhere out there, but yeah, I don't know. So that's it.
Another quick question, because I missed the last meeting, I apologize. I saw that we have donated the electric van and charging station. What kind of charging station, and where are we putting that?
That is going inside the garage, right?
Right
It'll be
inside
right inside
It
the
would be
garage.
the southeast corner. They come in, they do all the wiring, they do all the permit pulling consumers. They do everything. It's costing us $0. The guy did tell me that the batteries, I specifically mentioned about the batteries. He said it's got a like 8-year warranty on them. And he says,
On the van, you mean?
Pardon?
On the van?
On the van,
Yeah.
It's got a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper. It's got a 5-year warranty on powertrain, and it's got a 8-year warranty on the batteries. He said, give us a call after 7 years.
Yeah.
Give us a call after 7 years. The batteries might need to be replaced.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you do, they're under warranty.
Right.
And there's 14, I think there was 14 batteries in it, but it's 9 foot tall. It's a full size. It's gonna be, and
Yeah.
we can wrap it
We're gonna-
any
yeah,
way we want.
We can wrap
They
it,
will put
so if anybody has ideas besides the logo that you
No.
might want on there.
Do they pay for the wrap?
Yep,
Yes,
Okay.
everything.
everything.
So,
Okay.
yep, they pay for
Alright.
everything. Phil and I met with the transportation guy that's donating it and the electricians.
Correct.
So, yep, lots of information.
And the charging station has a card reader.
Yeah.
Whoever charges it has to have a card. They swipe it. It'll only charge till the batteries are full, and then it automatically shuts down. If there's an alarm or if there's anything that goes haywire, it automatically disconnects. So everything is through consumers. So it's 100%.
I was just curious of the level 2 charge rate of the charger. just for
It's
how we're gonna use it?
it's for the van.
Strictly
It's
for the van.
inside, so the van can charge inside and they can load the van with food inside in the winter.
Right.
So it's not
Yes, I know
meant,
that.
it's not meant to be a public charging station.
Yes, I know that. That was not my
Okay.
question. So I guess I can talk to you to get more details on that.
Probably Wanda. She's been more in touch with the guy than I am.
Just curious.
But-
How long it is gonna take to recharge the van? Or just,
To fully charge it was like 7 or 8 hours, like, and then, so, and it runs for about 140 miles is what it goes for, so, which is well
In the
over
summer.
what our routes are in the summer. About 130 or so in the winter. So, and I mean, it is rear wheel drive, so, but we'll have an extra vehicle. If we get a blizzard or something, we can always take one of our other vehicles.
Phil, before we move off executive director's report, now that we're in and we have a gym, and I know there's a lot of moving parts regarding the key card system and electronic charging people and hours, but I'm going to ask you, Wendy, within the next 30 days, we need a lockdown plan. Here's how much it costs for residents. Here's how much it costs for non-residents. Here's the hours for the gym. If we're going to be, open longer or shorter, how are we going to do that? We need to get about that.
Yep.
And I would ask that people in the community who are enthusiastic and interested in that gym and how to use that gym, that we reach out to them and get their input. If it's a gym committee or something, it shouldn't be your staff trying to make this up from whole cloth. Let's talk to people who've been using the equipment and have an opinion and have enthusiasm for how to make it work. Let's get their input.
Yep, and we did, and I think it was before you were a member, we've already have our prices that
Yeah,
were approved by the board. We've
and-
already approved the hours once. I
Yeah.
mean, we just need a
We
couple
just need
weeks
to
to
get,
get up
we need
and
to
running.
get about it.
Yep, so.
Yep.
But that goes back to the silver sneakers. If we're only gonna charge $15 for seniors a month and we get into the silver sneakers, we can charge 35. I mean, that's something that she has to work out.
It is.
Right.
Again, I did the research. I benchmarked the prices that we were going to charge, and we're going to be cheaper than anywhere for 200 miles.
Correct.
On silver sneakers, there's pros, there are cons. I shouldn't have dismissed it. We're going to look into it, but it's not $35 a month. It's $3 a visit up to $30. So we just have to be careful. There's pros, there's cons. We're going to do it. A year from now, if it's not working, we reevaluate. But Wendy's already said we're gonna do it. We're gonna look into it. We'll see how it works. But we got to be. The math is not what we're charging from Silver. It's a reimbursement program. We should look at it as found money and look at it as our local seniors being able to use this with no out of pocket for certain people. And so let's move forward on that, and we'll reevaluate in a year.
Yeah. Okay. So you have anything else, Wendy?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So let's move on to treasurer's report.
Alcota County Commission on Aging balance sheet as of 6/23/25. Assets, $713,489.46. Savings, $592,188.03. New building project funds, $26,771.92. Total amount spent as of 7/21/25. $12,834,396.38. Amen.
Can I say one thing before this is approved? That date, my bad, because Patty's not here. That should be yesterday's date, the 21st, 7/21. And then, that's all I'll say.
Want me to do it again?
No, you're fine. Need a motion to accept
Motion to
treasurer's
accept
report.
the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Damon, seconded by Lynch to accept the treasurer's report, subject to audit. Roll call, please.
Damon. Yes. Pinder.
Yes.
Testany.
Yes.
McKinnon.
Yes.
Flicker.
Yes.
Potter.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Von Fintel.
Yes.
Turret. Yes.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
Secretary's report.
Nothing that I can't talk about later.
Okay. Committee reports.
I put a couple things in there. First of all was a report of expenses, what they ended up being for the dedication open house ceremony. We had allotted $2,500 for that. Went over a little bit. I'll let whoever drew this up
No.
talk about
No.
that.
We actually, if you look at it, where Carolyn has donations and then invoice, we actually spent $1,924.18 and $1,371.93 was actually donated through part of the desserts were donated. She only charged us partial. The DJ lady that's had all of that set up, she would have charged for something like that $400, but she donated her time. And then the flowers and invitations and items like that, those were all donated.
And we don't have the invoice for the banners yet.
It's in here. Banner, $240 for the banners.
Oh.
That we did pay for that. Yep.
I'd say it was money well spent. And then there's a brief summation of the finance committee meeting on August 8th, what our objectives were, the summary that I will get to later. I gave you a copy of a letter that the committee recommended to the board that we send out. There is nothing objectionable to that with the attorney. So I guess we would need to sending that letter out, which follows the committee report. And then we also talked about Ty doing his initial research into the line of credit that was approved at the previous meeting. And the committee unanimously recommends to the entire board that Ty be allowed to apply for a line of credit, with the emphasis being put to the board that an approved debt application does not mean funds will necessarily be borrowed. That decision will come later depending upon circumstances and would be an entire board decision.
Okay. Anything else?
No, other than just if we need to make a motion to go ahead and send that letter.
I would move that we send a letter to Andy that's just asking for a final accounting of where we are with money spent and work still to be done. And then we'll just sit down when we get that reply and work things out.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, leave it right there. Motion by Damon, seconded by Pender to send a letter to Andy on the financial side of the situation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Unfinished business.
Nope, we got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We, at the last meeting, we approved looking into a letter of credit. I reported to the finance committee what's involved. I met with AAACU, Huron, and Northland on what it takes to do that. Basically, the way a line of credit works is it costs nothing until you start tapping into it. And they all have a variety of details, but basically, it's an interest-only loan that you pay back over a fixed amount of time. I'm not suggesting by applying that we have any urgent need for that money, but we have a big new giant building that we have no data from history what it's going to cost to operate. And we should have a backup plan in case we need it so that we're not struggling and we're not in a panic. And so the motion right now would be, we looked into it, the notion now would be to apply and have that ready. But again, an application means it's available. It would still take a motion by the board to actually make use of it. And we might not get approved. I mean, there's an application is an application. So the motion on the table is to actually apply and see what happens.
And we talked about before, the plan was always, we knew that funds would have to be spent out of savings. This is an alternate way of, rather than using our savings, so we would keep our savings untouched, but tapped in a line of credit. So we always knew there would be expenses that until money started coming in, that we would have to outlay some money from savings or some other source. So this is really just an alternate way of doing it than what we had discussed in the past.
I'm sorry, we're discussing. I make a motion that we apply.
I second it.
I'll second it. Third.
Okay, we have a motion by Damon, seconded by Pender, to apply for a line of credit for a secondary plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Would we just choose one place to apply to, or we're not gonna apply to all three of these, are we?
The next step would be getting into the details, because
Okay,
one, when you get into the details, might have a list of criteria that, well, no, we're not going to do that, or we can't do that. So
okay.
it doesn't cost anything to apply,
No.
but we're not going to do 3 times the work for no reason.
Right,
We're going to go the next step.
right.
It costs staff time. It costs
Yes,
getting
it
the
does.
information
Yes, it does.
and
Because I did see one of the emails and there was like a list of.
Right.
Yeah, of things that we need, so.
Yeah.
Yep. You just let me know which
Okay.
one we need to apply to,
Okay.
or we can discuss and then we can go from there.
Okay, now we'll move on to unfinished business if there's no more reports.
I have a question. We've been tossing this around for several months now, our van. I talked to Brad Cole the other day
Bus.
again,
But, not then.
the bus. I talked to Brad the other day again. He said him or the church or both will put in a low figure between 5,000 and 6,000. He said, I know it's low. If you can get more money, do it. He said, by all means, get as much as you can. But if we can't get him more, they are willing to go between 5,000 and 6,000. We've had it sitting out there paying insurance on it for all these months. And my suggestion would be to let him sell it to Brad. Get out from under it.
I also had a conversation with Mr. Bovick, and he did tell me that the cost is to pay the driver. They would take it down and see what they can get at auction. We give them a price. If they don't get it, they drive it back. So he did say he would take it down and see what he can do at auction. And if we set a, say a $10,000 limit on it, he don't get $10,000, we bring it back. Or if he gets 9,000, he could call and say, hey, I got a bid for 9, will you guys come down to 9? It's more than 5. We could make that decision then. So Lenny Bobby did say that he would take it down for us. So that's an option.
And we're saying that number, but the estimates are that it is worth more than that.
Correct. 13, 15, yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles on it, so.
Previously, the board voted to let Phil dispose of that in the best way he felt.
Yeah.
Which was the auction.
So if we already voted to take it to auction first and we haven't taken it to auction, then that's the next step.
I'll let Lenny know. I just need the title and the insurance. So when he takes it, he'll have a copy of the, huh?
I was thinking, they're finding it, everybody just moved.
No, Patty has it in her office. She was off today.
Now, are we going to set a number? Are we going to say no less than 8,000 or no less than 15,000? Are we gonna, I mean, we gotta tell Lenny something.
I think Lenny will get 13 probably for 12. It's in great shape. It's nothing wrong with it that I'm aware of that I drove, but,
Phil, if I may, if Brad's limit is between 5 and 6, we know it's worth maybe 15 or 12 or whatever. Say if he can't get at least 8, then bring it back and sell it to Brad. Can we do that?
I think Brad's been very fair to us, but you gotta realize that you're gonna need every penny you can.
I get that.
So you're already talking about going down and giving him like $2,000.
If we can't get rid of it down here though, I mean, since he's willing to pay anything above that, then,
we may not even get a bid on it
right.
down at the auction. I don't know. So we'll have to let Lenny go down and see if we can sell it. I don't think it, even though I'd like to sell it to Brad for, we need every dollar we can get.
Right.
So,
I
and I don't think Brad would be hurt if we sold it for,
No, and he stated that.
Yeah.
If you can get more, do it. By
Get
all
more.
means.
Correct. So, okay.
When does he go down? When does Lenny, is this a weekly thing
It's
or
usually a weekly thing.
really?
Yeah.
So hopefully he
I'll
can
ask
do it.
him, again when he's gonna go down and grab the key and go. All we have to do is pay for the driver. So, okay.
I had one other thing. Did you want to talk about the generator option?
Yes. The generator, I've been making calls. I got a call into Wolverine. I was hoping they had called me back before today, but we did have a meeting set up last week, right in the midst of moving everything and open house. And I talked to Andy about it and we decided, let's wait till after the open house. So I called them back and they were gonna come up and figure out what we were gonna need. I talked to Omni. Omni came in, they did a walkthrough with Andy and I. And they were talking right around 64,000. They would come in and set it all up. But we don't know how big it is. They wanted to get everything and make sure that it was gonna be the needs that we need for this building. Now, one guy did mention a portable generator that when we lose power, we make a phone call and they bring in one on a trailer. We don't have the maintenance. The problem with that, after looking into it and talking to other people, you may not get it if you're not the first one to call. It's not a good plan for our facility. Might be a little cheaper, but it's not a good plan. So I kind of threw that by the wayside. That's when I called Wolverine and I was hoping Matt would get back with me before today, but he didn't. I'll call him again and see what it says, but, so that's where that generator stands, but we definitely, one of the main concerns on the inspections, I kept hearing we didn't have a generator. Well, we're in the process. So that's how I can, we're in the process.
I got actually one thing. Where'd you wind up with Spectrum at?
So at our last meeting, we had 2 or 3 residents from the bungalows come and talk about the trouble they were having with Spectrum. Andy did everything he could with his contacts, but I stalked the vice president of corporate affairs for Charter Communications through LinkedIn, and they connected with me, and I got a hold of them. And I said, we have 8 seniors, some of whom have medical equipment that need to be connected to the internet, and your company's preventing us from doing that. And they took it seriously. And I know 4 of the 8 are hooked up. But basically, the people that were there got white glove service, and it just, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm letting everybody know that, with big corporations, you've got to be an advocate, and you got to find the right people and say the right message. And they took to heart that we didn't want to be talking about the lack of internet service at our open house with the press. So that worked out, and a couple of them at the open house said they were grateful that we did what had to be done to get them hooked up.
Are they all hooked up?
Well, if they want to be, they are.
Yeah, they came in yesterday, when I was back there, they came in and hooked up another one. They had to run the line up from the driveway all the way around. I said, how come that line's not buried? And they told me, and of course, it got 45 minutes to tell me, but they told me. So, okay.
What is the status on our old generator? Is it gonna stay with the building over there?
Yeah, it's gonna be probably put out. It's way too small for our building.
So is it gonna stay with Brad then, or Brad gets it, or whatever? What's
Up
going
in the air.
on with it? It's what?
Up in the air. I'm not 100% sure what is going on with that.
So far, we leave it there, and what happens, what
Exactly,
happens.
exactly.
Okay.
That's kind of what my theory is, just
Okay.
get it and we'll go from there. Okay, unfinished business. Just one quick thing on the trash gun. We need to tell our garbage service person that we need a new dumpster. There's a hole that big around in the bottom. We got a brand new pad. We throw stuff in there, it's gonna drain out, it's gonna get that concrete. It's gonna stink terrible.
This one,
The
that's
maroon
here
one,
now.
yep. Yeah, that has to be replaced. There's a gigantic hole on the bottom that's rusted through. And we have a brand new pad. Why would they put a good one on there? But I did see that yesterday, so that's something that has to be taken care of. So that's all I have right now. We'll move on to new business. We talked about
We've already
talked about the Silver Sneaker program.
Wait,
Yeah,
here's the information for the people that you can get the machines from and share the cost. So if you wanted dart machines where you actually can make money with them.
Game room stuff?
Game stuff. They come up, they service, they do all that hours around, and that's.
Yeah, in the past, we made up a whole, did a lot of contacting of companies, and then it was, okay, we thought we were gonna purchase the machines, obviously, we're not gonna purchase the machines. So obviously, if we go that direction, we're gonna have to contact one of these amusement vendors that they.
There's 2 different ones.
Yeah.
They do gumball machines, the claw machine, tattoos, all the stuff that kids are gonna want their parents to pay for.
So I'll dig that form, that information sheet that I printed. I'll see if I already have those, or did you get those off of the sheet that I had made?
I did not, I got those from
All right,
local.
I will add this, and then we'll get it drawn up again.
And,
good.
wait,
Oh, sorry.
new business. I submitted to, Dr. Turek my resignation as of the end of this meeting today.
We'll have to read that.
One of the things that I like and appreciate the most about Pam is you always knew what she was thinking. and she would say it. And that's an extremely valuable thing to have on a board, that people are willing to say things that other people are thinking, but not necessarily going to say. And I went back, I've had occasion to look at old minutes and watch the videos. And even before Pam was on the board, when she was in the crowd, she would say things that other people were thinking, but wouldn't say. And that's an extremely valuable thing. I'm going to miss her terrible. I know she has other ventures she's getting involved in that I hope go very well for personal reasons. I hope they go very well. But so I know I'll be seeing her, but going to be a loss. But I appreciate that her interests are going wants to devote more time to some other things.
Well, we appreciate everything you've done to help us out too.
I appreciate it too, because then I don't have anybody to give a hard time to.
I'll still come see you.
I also appreciate that her timing, she's doing this for a reason, because we have an election coming up. So now there are not only the three seats that are always up every year, but now people will know there's an additional seat open. So I appreciate her timing. So I'm going to miss her. I'll make a motion to accept her resignation.
With regrets.
Second.
Decline.
Motion by Turk, seconded by Damon to accept Pam McKinnon's resignation from the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So under new business,
One last thing under new business. If people saw in the lobby, there's a sign about getting donations for decorating. The plan for that is to get people to donate artwork, photography, different items. Dolores and her family have donated some historical stuff. But basically, once that comes in, I'm working with an interior designer. We'll put a whole plan together where we'll be able to see, okay, here's a picture of the lobby. There's this on this wall. There's this over the fireplace. There's this on the right. Here's the hallway. We'll also put it out for public comment. You know, we're not going to vote on, I like the frog better than the chickadee, but people will be able to say, yeah, this is a good plan, and this is something we can all be proud of. So that started. I got Megan got contacted yesterday by a local illustrator who's very interested in donating things, again, so that people have a vision. You know, it's not going to be a hodgepodge of stuff on the wall. It's going to be what an interior designer would do to make the people who visit here, the people who work here, to be proud. That frame that's on the picture in the lobby, Leroy made that. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's professional. And there's only going to be more of that. So that's the plan. I encourage everybody to, get with your friends and neighbors that have special talents. Let's make sure, Wendy, we put that in the newsletter and on the website that we're doing that. Something kind of fun. With Bob's help, I was able to salvage the old bingo sign from the gym. The computer's busted, but the lights still work. And so we want to put that in the game room. A little bit of fun, a little bit of heritage. I've also started collecting antique wooden board games. So I don't know if people are familiar with Bill Hastings, but it's the Hasty Place, just north of Harrisville. He's a famous wood carver locally, and his family donated to me a Parcheesi board that he made. So we could have fun things like that in the game room to just so we want the place to be contemporary, modern, you know, we want someone to take wedding pictures in the foyer, right? But, you know, something like the game room, we can have some fun with. You know, there's a lot we could do in this room with heritage and history. And so that's the big picture. Please spread the word. It'll be a fun way to get the community involved.
Okay. Being that we're on new business, this will come as a shock. Hey, Bob, would you read this, please?
New business. Dated July 22nd, to the Board of Directors regarding letter of resignation. Dear members of the board, after much reflection, I have decided to step down from my role as President of the Board of Directors for AACCOA effective midnight today, which is July 22nd. It's been a great honor to serve this organization and support its mission to enrich the lives of older adults in our community. I am proud of the work we've accomplished together, strengthening programs, supporting staff, and expanding our reach along the development of a new center. I remain deeply committed to the Senior Center's mission and will continue to be an advocate for its success. This decision was not made lightly, but I believe it is the right time for me to transition leadership for personal reasons. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in this role and for the trust you have placed in me. With gratitude, signed, Phil Potter. Just this meeting alone, Phil, have you all noticed? Phil checked on the generator. Phil checked on selling the bus. Phil checked on the garbage bin. I don't think our board, let alone the public, has any idea what Phil has been doing for the last couple of years and the things he has done. I can't imagine he goes anywhere in the county without somebody grabbing his ear and talking about the senior center here, this senior center here. Huge shoes to fill. I just can't believe, I think Andy and I have talked about in the past, he was the perfect person at the time. We would not be in this building enjoying this the way we are without Phil Potter. So I didn't know Phil before he came on the board. I consider him a friend now. I hope he uses his time well to increase his batting practice time before the big game coming up. But we owe him a debt of gratitude.
Absolutely.
Hard decision.
I would make a motion to accept his resignation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Aye.
I think we need to then, at this point in time, make elect a new or appoint a new president.
I would like to make a motion under these circumstances that Ty Damon take over as our president.
I would second that.
I will not accept that at this time. I'm 2-0.
Well, keep in mind, yes,
I will
that
not-
is your right.
I will not accept that at this time.
Keep in mind, the way things work is this is a 2-month appointment. That when the new board is seated at the October meeting, there's new elections for all the officers. So I don't know if that makes any difference to you.
We have to do it now because we got two people sitting here wanting to get on the board. I mean, possibly three.
I think
And we got next month, in September, to see if they,
Yeah, you got one.
Well, so the election for 3 open positions, for 3-year positions comes up, it takes place during September. Our bylaws allow for appointment to fill vacancies. Both Pam and Phil's terms expire 1 year from now. So we can appoint somebody to fill their terms for 1 year. But looking at the bylaws, it's probably better to wait and have an election. And if you have 5 people run for an election, 3 people get 3-year terms and 2 people get to fill the vacant terms. I mean, it's kind of up in the air. I would have to call a lawyer, have Wendy call the lawyer and see what the best way to proceed.
I would recommend that Dolores runs the August meeting. If Ty didn't want it, and we have no other nominees on the board that would take it, Dolores would run the August meeting, and then the election would be in September, and you can fill your board.
Yeah.
If that would make sense.
I would agree. We don't have obligation in the bylaws to fill open positions for a month, as long as we still have a quorum. It makes sense, if we're gonna have 5 new people on the board, that new board be allowed to decide who its president is going forward.
Which they will. Even if you were to accept this resolution.
I understand. I understand. I'm just being honest. I'm new, and I'm involved with a lot of other things beside this board. And I try to give, 100% to all of them. And I want to keep doing what I'm doing in my current role right now. So I agree that I think Dolores as vice president is more than capable of stepping in to run the next meeting.
I do too. I have faith in her.
As long as everybody helps me.
Yeah, well, we will.
I'll second
Well,
You got your second.
we don't have to have a motion.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
She just,
That's
she
the
just
role.
So I
takes
don't,
over the role.
I don't think we need to elect anybody. It's just we're gonna assume that Dolores,
Yes.
the line of succession, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you both. I mean, I really do. I mean, people don't know what you've done the last year or two, Phil, Pam, but we know. I know.
I've had a few headaches. I'm sure.
No excuse for not going 4 for 4 next month. We should have batting practice.
I'll give it my best. How's that? And I'll even steal a base for it. How's that? I'm gonna steal at least one base.
Just
bring
it
back
back.
Second Saturday of September, the game is. But,
September 13th.
September 13th, here we go. Ty would know. I just know it's the second Saturday. Okay, so let's move on. If there's no more new business, we'll move on to public comment, but you'll need to find a new garbage man before we go to public comment.
I know, I was just gonna say, do I need to call Wendy Bobbitt too?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Phil has actually been going around to the bungalows and picking up people's garbage for them.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Monday. What time do you do that Monday?
Monday, 9:15. I'm usually there 9:15 every day.
Did you want a job?
Huh?
Did you want a job?
Oh, yeah. And then Andy's already mentioned the grounds and stuff, but it took me 45 minutes yesterday.
You do the garbages?
With a lot of complaints.
About garbages?
No, everything.
Oh,
I mean, when I get complaints, it's not just about one thing.
right.
It comes in bunches. So we'll move on to public comment, please. Please, again, limited 2 minutes per person. Please give your name and township.
Judy Fretch. I had a few things, but all I want to say is that Andy had said he was interested in getting on the board, and I have to weigh that because I think he'd be good on the board, but until he's completely paid off for the job, isn't that a conflict of interest? Because as a board, you cannot be paid. So I don't know how that would work. I mean, I think he would be excellent on the board, but we can't have a board member being paid for stuff. So that needs to be considered. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz Conley. In regards to the open house, which was great, I had a lot of comments throughout the week before and after the open house about not being open during the times when the younger generation can come. And since this is a community center, I think we need to have another open house and open it up because they're working during the week. Like this gentleman said, this is where your money is gonna come from. Your revenue is gonna be the younger generation that we need. And I think it was kind of, not thought of as getting it open to the community rather than just to seniors. And I think, again, and he's right, the hours need to be there early to a little later at night so that the community can utilize the building. So that's on that point. So I hope that we would have another open house and allow the younger generation, the non-seniors, to come and view the building and get the same treatment that the seniors got.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I have one more thing on the
Okay, you still
artwork.
have time. You still have time, go ahead.
Oh, on the artwork. Wendy mentioned, or I found out through Wendy or whatever, that you're looking for artwork. I'm an artist. I wanted to know what kind of artwork you're looking for. Are you looking strictly for donations? And what kind of artwork and from who? If you're looking for artwork from the community of Alcona, I'm affiliated with the Harrisville Arts Center. So, I have some people there that have contacts for artwork. Also, if we're gonna put up artwork, would it not be beneficial for the artist to have a little card, like you have in a gallery? Put a little card with the name of the painting or whatever it is, their name and their town that they are from. I told Wendy I'd be willing to help out on that, if you need something regarding the artwork. So.
Thank you.
Laura from Guston again. So I want to share with you my experience with the gym downstate. I always went to the gym before my husband. My husband's a senior. He's much older than I am. We're retired up north. I am loving the fact that we're going to have a gym because I've been desperate for one. I've gained 80 pounds. But the gym that I had, and this is where I became familiar with Silver Sneakers. I was younger. I was a professional, business professional. I showed up at the gym at 5:30 in the morning, worked out for 2 hours, took a shower, went to work. The majority of the day, the gyms sit vacant because young people cannot utilize them. They're working or they're in school. So that gym promoted, incentivized, worked with local doctors, the media, and pushed the fact that they cooperated with Silver Sneakers. And it was a community effort. That entire day, during that bulk of the time when that gym would have been vacant, was full. Every class they offered, everything was centered around safe, senior active activities, classes. But then come 3 o'clock when kids are getting out of school and business professionals are starting to get out of work come 5 o'clock, it was all geared. It's not like anybody was prohibited from coming at certain parts of the day. It was a public gym, a privately, owned gym. But it was more that they focused different aspects of the day towards the people that would be available to come in. And the seniors thrived. The doctors incentivized them to go in and utilize it. The hip replacements were easier because the more mobility that you have, post-op exercising, etc. So it was a beautiful experience. The seniors were happy because during the time that they were there, they weren't competing with young people running around bumping into them, which is a safety hazard.
10 seconds.
Oh, I thought you meant to stop. So anyway, it was a beautiful experience. Everybody was happy. The young people, this gentleman in front of me, his comment was very true. Her comment's very true. The bulk of the money that you're gonna make is off the young families and the youth and the younger generational people that can really have vigorous activity. But they're only gonna be available to utilize it in the evenings.
Thank you.
So,
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. No, Mitchell Township. First of all, I want to thank Commissioner Brumman for escorting my wife around here sort of after the open house. Reason being is my wife works with seniors primarily, and they're looking for a place to come and work out for rehabilitation. So it was yesterday, I believe, was the day I got the comment about the hours. And, that's coming from people in the community. And you really are gonna have to be proactive on that. I do struggle with the one comment that was made up there about, for certain seniors, no cost. It should be no cost for all seniors. Definitely. I mean, they pay their taxes. All of our stuff comes out of here. And this building is the community's, is the county's responsibility. And this whole thing was put together primarily because of the seniors, and we all know the circumstances that brought that about. So, the seniors are the ones that really need to be accommodated on this whole situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got another one.
Go ahead.
I didn't think about it earlier, but speaking on what she said about, Yance McNeil, Hawes Township, they're being incentivized. Like the people I've talked to here that work at like the bank, credit union, like corporation type wise, like they are excited about coming in because they've already talked with their HR and their companies are going to pay their memberships as long as they have enough visits. So they have nothing but incentive to come in. It's basically free for them to come in and their memberships are paid. So just another thing.
Just a reminder, we have actually discussed this and things are gonna be, we just need a little bit of time.
Lisa Turek, Harrisville Township. I just want to say thanks to Phil and Pam for doing what you do on the board and what you have done in the past few months. It's amazing, and a lot of stuff that you've done that people don't know. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for your job.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to? Yes, ma'am.
Just briefly,
Real quick.
just in response with the Silver Sneakers, it took me 1 minute to Google it last night. It is $3 a visit, up to $30 a month. But you can also, I Googled gym, how does a gym participate with it? You can also request and negotiate paperwork fees to be covered by Silver Sneakers. And I've got their phone number, and as soon as I get home, I'll be calling them.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comments and we'll go on to director's additional comments and concerns.
I have some. About some of the comments that were made. We have a nomination committee, which takes all applicants for the board, takes their information, does a background check, determines if there's any conflict of interest. They will be meeting this month, and then they deliver to us a full slate in August. So anybody is entitled to apply, but then the nomination committee will decide if there's some kind of conflict of interest. So that's the way it's supposed to work. The other thing is as far as the time for the open house, I don't think the open house could have possibly gone any better. But the board and committees discussed several different options on to which times were best. The reason the board and the committee chose this time was because the staff would be here. And it was easier for people to meet the staff, but there was also discussed of opening it up on a Saturday for an open house, or even like a Wednesday night after work. So the board did discuss this, and that's all anybody could ever ask, that these kind of decisions have been discussed and they weren't just made willy-nilly. So the only other thing, the final page in your board book, I want you all this is something that, except for the new board members, we've gone over this before, but it's pertinent now for considering a line of credit. And we had the NEMSCA personnel come and talk to us about this. This is a list of all the grants we get from NEMSCA. And it's broken down into what is congregate meals, what is home delivered meals, and what is in-home services. And when you total it up, our congregate meals, we get from NEMSCA $28,413 or thereabouts. And for that amount of money, we have to go through all the paperwork of complying with them. We cannot set prices or require people to pay prices that of what our meals cost. Wendy probably estimated she probably puts in at least $10,000 worth of time, her wages every year, to comply with the paperwork. So I would like everybody to keep that in mind, that for all the hoops we have to jump through to run the congregate meal program and only give a certain meat that's size of a deck of cards, or not add seasoning or salt to anything, all the rules and regulations, if we came up with $28,000 through other means, we would not have to do anything having to deal with NEMSCA. So I want everybody to consider that if we're considering taking out a line of credit, or how much money we're going to take from savings to make this place, and the congregate meals in particular, what we want to have. Or what if somebody goes plays pickleball and they want to come and have a strawberry salad that's made up? To allow our kitchen staff to do these kind of things that NEMSCA won't allow them to do right now. I want everybody to keep that in mind. We don't need to discuss it today, obviously, but that's how much we get from NEMSCA and how many hoops we have to jump through to get that amount of money.
Our kitchen can make up salads and stuff for other people to purchase, Bob. We're not limited there. It's just on the senior congregate meals.
We're limited, we would have to have other funding. We can't use their funding. Yeah.
Right.
So that we need revenue to start up doing that kind of stuff.
Correct. And we had talked about in the past when NEMSCA came in last January, I believe, is that because of everything we had going on and all the questions as to how much money we had and how much we would spend, we decided, look, this isn't something really, it was just too big a step to take to say, look, we're going to forego NEMSCA funding. In fact, Nori Sauer said, no one's ever done that before. Well, nobody's ever had a facility like this who's going to, has the potential to bring in money that would more than outweigh what we're losing from NEMSCA. So it's something that it's going to need to be discussed. If we feel like in order to make this facility what it can be, if they are a hindrance to us taking that money and all the strings attached, it might be in our best interest to revisit that. So that's why I just wanted to give you that form to look at.
For instance, the month of June, for our congregate meals, we received less than half of the donations for the number of meals.
And I don't know if the public knows that we're not allowed to charge.
Right.
We ask for donations. So if somebody does not want to pay, they could come in every day and have a meal and not pay. And there's nothing we could do about it because we take NEMSCA funds. If we didn't take NEMSCA funds, that wouldn't necessarily happen.
I have one more thing to say. Since it's been brought to our attention that they don't feel that Andy should be on the board because we owe him money, I feel that it is utmost important to make sure that that is settled ASAP, that he gets paid, because he has every right to be on this board come October. And there's no reason he should not receive compensation for the things he's done.
I had no other final comment.
I have a comment. Does the board have any ideas what we can do to get our in-home service people to donate money and our home delivered meals? I mean, it costs us, I'm guessing now it's probably $11 or $12 to deliver that meal. Is there any way that we can encourage them to pay?
Oh, they pay their taxes, you know?
You can encourage away, but if we take that funding, we cannot require payment.
I know, but I'm wondering if we couldn't, I don't know. I don't have any ideas. I'm
our
hoping that
direct
somebody.
care workers, I mean, the first thing they say when they go out there and they do their assessments and whatnot, we basically live off of our donations. You know, we have to have donations to keep our programs going. And that is the biggest thing, is people are like, well, we pay our taxes.
Yeah.
Like I've said over and over, I mean, I looked on my tax bill, I pay $50 a year for taxes for ACCOA. Being under 60, what, I could get 8 meals a year, 10 meals a year. That would cover 10 meals a year. So an average person, a senior, would maybe get 20 meals a day when we're feeding them 365 meals a day, or a year, I'm sorry, a year. They're paying basically out of their taxes for 8, 10, 12 meals.
Do we send like a letter occasionally?
Every single month, every month.
Every month? And say it costs us $12 to send that meal to you. We appreciate anything you can.
Yes, it says on every.
It says suggested donation. It breaks down how many hours they've had for whatever service it is. It breaks down, you got 30 meals this month. This is what it cost us to give you these meals. And like I've said a million times, we have over 200 clients and we get 15 people every single month that pay. That's it. That is including all services. Home delivered meals, personal care, respite, housekeeping, that's it.
I remember when my mom was director, in the newsletters, she would put, and I don't know how it was worded, but if we deliver to this person and we clean their house, and in the newsletter it would say, please remember us in your will, or when you die, direct your family to don't make a certain donation to the senior program. And we did get several families that would take a portion of the money, I guess, from the person that passed away and donate it to us. So that might be, and you'd have to figure out how to word it, because I don't remember how she worded it, but we did get donations that way.
It's a good idea.
Matter of fact, one lady even donated our first meal truck. That way, she lived right here in Lincoln. She bought in her will, she bought the meal truck, delivery truck.
Do we have any?
Yeah, actually I have one. We need to find a solution for implementing EBT here, the EBT program, to support both the farmer's market and sale of baked goods from our facility. And we're a little bit stalled in that implementation. And it's gonna take a couple of months to get all of that processing through. So I think in the vein of maximizing revenue and supporting our community in the way that we say we want to, we really need to get that application in and start processing.
And how would they use that?
They can use EBT to purchase the bread and any kind of baked goods that we're gonna be selling out of the kitchen, as well as utilize.
Isn't there a lot of paperwork with that, since it's like a, they say a welfare program?
Paperwork, and what is that?
As far as.
Is that the thing that the application had to be filled out and they wanted all my personal information?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I will not give them my personal driver's license, social security. I've already reached out to the bank and they told me absolutely never do that. That affects your credit.
Yeah.
I will not do
I would
that.
not support that at all.
So we need a way to figure out how to implement this.
Correct.
No,
I'd like to see that.
I'm not gonna do that. I mean, if you wanna go ahead and do it, go Go for it.
I don't work at the HCOA, so that's.
But you're a board member, so.
It would be inappropriate for me to do that.
Phil, this is comments and concerns, not committee meetings, hashing out details. I mean, the concerns out there.
Right.
And there's a concern about personal information, so back to working on it offline. Bring us a solution.
Can I just say one comment before, about hours and stuff? Like I said, we are working on it. If anybody is willing to volunteer time, coming in early and staying late, to help keep the facilities up and running till we have the revenue to start paying people. I mean, all you have to do is fill out an application. I would do a background check and you would be considered a volunteer. So.
Well, I don't know, if this is a Q&A or, because there are gyms around here, like within 10 miles of here, that you walk in, you punch in code.
Well,
And I'm glad, but I'm just saying, there are gyms around here, you walk in, you punch in a code, you go in the gym, you are the only one in the gym by yourself, and it's open 24 hours a day. So I don't know if it's liability, I don't know who you're insured through or what your liability concern is there, but there are plenty of gyms around this country that are unmanned.
Right.
You walk in, you work out, you use the facilities, you leave, and there's no problem.
Maybe get with Wendy afterwards or not during the meeting, but afterwards and discuss what you have.
Yep.
That's what we can do. Anybody else? I do have one other issue, well, two issues. I mentioned to Wendy that I talked to a mother that her daughter's a public trainer. She's been in fitness for quite a while. She's got a certificate for being a public trainer. She wants to come in on the 30th and 31st of this month and help any employee that would like to work in the fitness center. She will, free of charge, work with them on how to work the equipment and how to keep the equipment clean and what muscle groups to work. She said she's willing to come in for nothing. So that's a issue that I had. This is an issue I had really ticked me off yesterday, and I had to keep my composure for not telling somebody to hit the road. Andy witnessed it, dragging the podium over the brand new gym floor and dragging it across our hallway. I said, Andy said, "You're not dragging it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "No, absolutely not." And he goes, "Whatever." I said, "Oh, hell no, not whatever." I said, "This is brand new floor. Pick the damn thing up and walk out with it." And that's what I told him. And Andy helped him pick it up. I really urge the employees that have to take care of this place. Dragging a podium, that one right there, across the new gym floor and across the hallway is unacceptable.
And be careful of the cleaning supplies you use on the stuff, just as a cleaner.
So that was one thing I did want to bring up to you, and so that was absolutely an unacceptable response by him as an employee. He should have said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting," that's what I would have done. First, I wouldn't have drugged it across the brand new gym floor. So, just something like that the employees have to understand that. And then kind of got the eyeball, which could have turned in bad, but I walked away. I didn't pursue it any farther, but it's something. So that's another thing. So if we have any other comments from the board, directors' comments, concerns?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Damon to adjourn the meeting, seconded by Pender. Favor? Adjourn.
Go, Ty. They've already emailed this, print out.